Students, in this video tutorial, we are going to deal with this content. You've filled in some text, the bio, and then your image. There's no rhyme or reason other than it's just sitting there at this point. A couple things we want to fix. Notice my background or my content area, I had it limited to being like 300 pixels tall. I needed to set it to auto, so all of this will stretch down here and contain all my text. Remember that content style is up in the CSS, so look for hashtag content, and there it is. And sure enough, I've got mine set to 300. I'm going to change that 300 pixels to auto. Okay, and auto means just make it fit whatever content's there. When I click over here, boom, that white background, okay, it stretched to fit that. Let's see if there's anywhere else. I think make sure you have wrapper set to auto as well. I do. I have my wrapper set to auto and my content area. Both of those need to be kind of flexible because that's where I put in more content. Now, we want to deal with padding. Okay, I don't want this image and this text to be right up on the edge. And I don't want it to be right at the bottom here and right at the top. So I want to have a little bit of padding all the way around. And so what would I do? I need to add padding to the content div. So over here in content, and don't forget, when we add padding, remember we had to subtract something. We had to either subtract height or width. Now, we've got height set to auto, so we won't have to subtract from auto. But we certainly will since we have a fixed size on the width. So after the background color, which I had is this kind of translucent white here, so I could see a little bit of that texture in the background, I'm going to insert another line after the close, and I'm going to say padding. Remember, we could do it in a series. We start top, right, bottom, left. I want to have 15 pixels padding at the top. You know what? I want to have 15 pixels padding all the way around. If I leave it just like this is the same as saying padding top, 15, padding right, 15, padding bottom, padding left. So I'm just going to leave it like that. Make sure you close it with a semicolon. And now what's going to happen is you're going to see the padding show up over here. But my box is going to be a little bit too wide. Why is that? Because I added 15 pixels to the right and to the left, to the top and to the bottom. So what I need to do is subtract 30 pixels from the width. I had this 900 wide, so I'm going to go over here in my content style. And where it says 900, I'm going to make that 870. Just subtracting 30 pixels. See? My wrapper, footer, everything's 900 wide, but if I change padding on the right and the left, top and bottom doesn't matter because I've got it set to auto. If I had the height set, then yeah, I would have to subtract from that. So let me click again and I go over here, and sure enough, the padding looks good over here, looks good at the top, bottom, right, and left. Everything looks good there. All right, one other thing on this video is I want to show you, we're going to add another style. We want to make this text wrap around here, around this photo. So it's not so complicated and it just doesn't look really good. So what I'm going to do is underneath footer, I'm going to add something that we haven't done yet. I'm going to add a inline style, it's called. And what an inline style is it's not a hashtag. It's something that I could use for any time. Like if I wanted a word to be red, I could just say red text, dot red text, and then give it a color, give it a font style, so forth. I'm going to say period, dot, and I'm going to call this float right. Okay? And I'm going to make another one in case I want my picture to float left. I'm going to make another one that says float left. So I'm making two of these. Dot float left. Okay. Now I haven't put anything in here. I've just named a style, but I haven't put anything. So here's the CSS for making something float left. I have to say float colon left. And actually that's right. My fault. R-I-G-H-T. And I want to do the same thing here, but say float left, float colon left. That's the declaration. Now, if I want this text to kind of go to the right of this, I'm going to tell this picture, I'm going to tell it to float left here in a minute. but I don't want the word professor to be right on here. So if something's floating to the left, I want to have a little padding on the right side of this picture and the bottom. So on this float left, I'm going to say padding and top 0 pixels. I want the padding on the right to be 15 pixels, and then the bottom to be 15 pixels and 0 on the left. Okay. Now I'm going to copy this and put it on the right, but the right side's a little bit different. If I make it float to the right, I want it to be just the opposite. I want 0 pixels on the top, 0 pixels on the right, 15 pixels on the bottom, and 15 pixels on the left. It'll make more sense when I show you this, okay? This video is getting long, so let me hurry. Okay, for this to work, okay, I've created 2 different styles here, inline styles, okay? I need to click on this picture. I've got to show up my property bar, so go Window, Properties. When your properties bar is there, if you look right in the middle of that property bar, it will only work if you click on that picture. Make sure you're in design view, not live view, okay? Click on the picture, look at the property bar, and where it says class, select float left. Now look what happens. When I float left, my text is over here, and I've got the padding on the right and the bottom. If I selected float right, it did just the opposite. Now how cool is that? Why don't you try it?